So let's do your money line. That's a vertical line that runs from the end of the headline just underneath the mercury finger, up towards the mercury finger. It's in red. Explanations in between the mercury and the sun finger. One line, that's one income in your 20s. Then two lines in your 30s. And then one line, 40 to 45. And then two lines, 45, 50, 60, and 70. Okay, under that mercury finger, this shows your children, your relationships, and your marriage. See where the flirt lines are at the end of the heart line? Yours are just kind of fair. You don't have a whole bunch of flirt lines. Little tassels on the end of the heart line. I put flirt lines, just means you interact well with people. Then that section above the flirt lines between the ring around the mercury finger, that has your children and your marriages. The marriages and the relationships are horizontal lines from the outside of the hand in towards the palm, and the children lines are vertical lines. They're just little tiny short lines that come down from that ring around the mercury finger. I get three little lines in there, three children. And then that section between the flirt lines and the ring around the mercury finger, you divide that into thirds, going up from the flirt lines. That first third would be about age 20, 30. The next third's about 40, 50, and the last third's about 60, 70, 80. So I get one relationship line, that's in red, before the marriages, and I get two marriages in there. First marriage is a really good color, but it's kind of short. I put maybe 19 years. It's hard to get an exact count on marriages on the timeline, but it's shorter than the other one. And then that second one's a very good dark color, good long marriage line. Probably it starts as a relationship line. It's got a little gap in there, and then it becomes a marriage line. Much longer than the first one. And the only way I can tell when you're going to marry is there's a little marking, looks like the letter Y, a little stick with a fork on the end of it, and that will appear in the fate line. There's a good timeline on that fate line. That starts at the base of your palm at about age 20, and it goes up to the Saturn finger only. But where it crosses the headline, that's age 40, and where it crosses the heart line, that's age 50. So that little marking, that little Y marking, will show in that fate line on a time at a time period. And here's where it says, look over there on the left-hand side under the purple writing. It says chances to marry at these ages, at 35, 39, 40, 55, 57, and 58. That's probably your second marriage. Now you should have received about 4 charts with your hand reading, and if you'll find that chart that says hand analysis chart, it's got the big hand on it. We're going to work basically off that, and then we'll bring the other 3 charts in as we need them. First thing you need to know is the left hand is the past, right hand is the present and the future. It does not matter what handed you are. The left is always the past, the right is always the present and the future. Most of the work we do is on the right hand. The length of your fingers is your talents. Everyone has talents. No one gets cheated. So long fingers mean one thing, short fingers mean another thing. Now look down there in the lower right hand corner of your chart. The palm shapes is probably your most important talent. And there's square, there's round, there's long, there's a mixture. You've got kind of a squarish palm, kind of a rectangular palm. Very athletic and practical. You like to move around when you work. Oh, do you work a desk job? Let me see. Well, you probably do. Okay, upper right hand corner, fingertips. type of fingertips. It's your personality. You got two different kinds. You've got two spatulate fingers. Intense, dramatic, energetic, adventuresome actors, actresses. Most of the actors and actresses have those spatulate fingers. And then three rounded, intuitive, quick, very compassionate. Should be in the health field. Okay, back down to the hand now. Go down to the thumb. We're going to do your talents and your fingers. That thumb is kind of long. Means you will do well in life. Good manual dexterity. You hold tools and instruments well, and you work well with your hands. That Jupiter finger. Oh, let me explain the names on these. Palmistry is about 2,000 or 3,000 years old, and they had gone through and they named all the fingers and different areas of the palm. Most of the names they used were generally Greek gods or goddesses or astrological names. So that index finger is the Jupiter finger, the middle one's the Saturn, the ring finger is the Sun finger, sometimes called the Apollo finger, and the little finger is the Mercury finger. Then that section in between the heart and the headline going clear across the palm, that is called the Mars area. And right at the base of the palm, no, right at the base of the thumb, that little fat pad down there, that's called the Mount of Venus. Venus, goddess of love, because that's going to show your sexual libido. Okay, let's go back up to the Jupiter finger, the index finger. That's a little bit short. Self-motivated worker, you work very well on your own. You don't have to have a manager or supervisor looking over your shoulder. Saturn fingers a little bit short. That needs to be about the length of the palm. A little bit short, concerned with social issues, very compassionate. Again, compassionate, caring about your fellow man. Oh, that sun finger's long. That's a good creative, imaginative, inventive, abstract thinker. That's a good finger, good long one. And that little finger is a little bit short, hands-on person, very active. Sitting at a desk doing paperwork is not your favorite thing to do. Okay, under that Mercury finger now. Oh, wait a minute, let me catch these two, this one little lucky sign right next to the Mercury finger, the little finger. Where it says lucky sign, little triangle, you've got a lucky sign in your, let's see, that's in purple, it's probably in your lifeline, from age 31 to 34. Well, oh, you're 34 right now. Oh, you're right in the lucky period right now. That's just kind of a positive time in your life. Now, the heart line is your first major line in your hand. It usually starts between your Jupiter and your Saturn finger, and it comes down, should make a nice curve in the hand there and go off to where the flirt lines are. Two things we read on the heart line: your emotions and your heart health. And now that line is, that's, yours was really straight, quite straight line. You're kind of tough emotionally. That's because you're out, you're hurt, your spine has been hurt. And then you got some slight heart health stress. Look up there in the upper left-hand corner of your chart where it says lines of energy. Run your finger down where it says island. If you get any of those little islands, ovals, little triangle-y looking things, little circles, in the line or underneath the line, that's a break in the energy. Sometimes they're on the top of the line. You've got one on top of the line there too. That's a little break in the energy. So you got some slight heart health stress, but you're all out of place in your spine. Oh my gosh, your back must hurt. Jump over there to where it says sixth sense. Underneath the Jupiter finger, you want to see a nice little fat pad in there. And that's your sixth sense, or your intuition. And yours is fair. It's a little bit dehydrated. I can see the skin in there. If you get to drinking more water, you're a little bit dehydrated too. at the base of that thumb, slightly dehydrated. You need to drink more water, about 32 ounces a day. And that skin will pop right up in that area that's the sixth sense, and in that sexual libido area underneath the thumb. Here's how that works. If you got a little problem you got to solve, just clear your mind completely for about 30 minutes. Then when you come back to solve the problem, that gives your intuition or your sixth sense time to kick in, and you'll probably have your problem all solved. So listen to those little promptings inside your head. Okay, we're down to that darn head and spine line. Holy cow. Your back must hurt. Two things you see on that head and spine line. That's going to tell you how smart you are by how straight across your hand that goes. And then if you got any problems in the spine at all, it's going to show. And I marked that with the little red marks, those little islands. So you're very intelligent. The line goes right across your head. You do have a depression line that hangs down from that, but I'll tell you about that in just a minute. Find your chart that says Understanding Your Cervical Spine, and look down at the bottom of that chart where it shows it shows a picture of a vertebrae down the bottom of that chart. And if you'll know, the vertebrae is the boning process in your spine. And this is looking down on top of the vertebrae. On each side of each one of those vertebrae in your spine, there's a nerve that comes off each side from your spinal cord. That's what runs your whole body. And that nerve goes out to different areas of the body. Your head, your face, your throat, your lungs, your heart, your stomach, your spleen, your colon, your legs, your arms, your hands, and it. Those nerves all end up in your hands and your feet, and some of the nerves from the top part, that top 1 cervical, 2 cervical, what they call the atlas and axis, that hold your skull on, they end up in the roof of your mouth. I better tell you, I'm not just a palm reader. I've got a master's degree in health education, and I was finishing up my master's degree in my 40s. I'm an old school teacher, and I started reading these palmistry books, and I read this book by Dr. Eugene Schuyman, who's an old medical doctor. It's out of print now, but he told how you could see the spine in this head and spine line, and I started using that, and my gosh, it's true. Everything in your spine is going to show in that head and spine line, and it'll show those little islands if you're out of place. So find your chart now that says, oh, I gotta look at this, I can't even remember the name of it. Chart of Effects of Spinal Misalignments. See the spine on the left-hand side, and then the name of the vertebrae. That's each one of those vertebrae in the cervical, thoracic, and the lumbar and the tailbone area. Then the next column is the areas that those nerves go to that come off the spinal cord, and then the last column is the effects. That's the effects that you get when that when that vertebrae turns out of place a little bit and pinches those nerves and causes these kind of effects. Those vertebrae are very flexible. They'll twist out of place if you stress that spine too much, or if you have an accident, or if you get hurt. I'll tell you the things that ruin this spine is generally car accidents, bike accidents, horse accidents, gymnastics, contact sports like football, soccer, basketball sometimes. Jumping on trampolines is so hard on the spine. If your little kids are jumping on trampolines, Be sure you straighten out their spines once in a while. Or if you jump, it looks to me like you might have been jumping on some trampolines. How old are you, 34? Where are you from? Are you... Oh, you're in London. You came from Italy. Oh, I don't know if they have trampolines in Italy. Oh, you were there till you was age 25, weren't you? Well, I'm sure you have all kinds of sports that can damage your spine. Because you sure done a number on it. And then that's what's causing that, that pulmonary problem, that lung problem. Okay, starting there underneath your Jupiter finger. Underneath that Jupiter finger is where your cervical vertebrae are going to show. And you're all out of the whole cervical area. 1 through 7. So look over there on the effects you get. Depression, that's what's causing your little depression line. ADD, strokes, hay fever, laryngitis. That's right there on that 5C, 5 cervical. And I think that one is, oh, and then further down. And then go down into the, so you're all out in that. That's what's causing some of that. You're getting laryngitis, and what else did you say you were getting? Oh, you had something else that was, laryngitis. Oh, suffocation. Oh my gosh. Then go down to the top part of that thoracic area. See, that's 1T through 12T, that's your thoracic area. Starting at the base of the neck is where the thoracic area starts. And that section I've circled in green there, look down at the bottom of the chart, says this section of the spine is way out of place. And that's causing your medical problems. I think it's twisted the opposite way, because you've got most of these little islands are underneath the line, but you got one that sits on top of the line that makes it look like it's twisted the opposite way. And I think that your vertebrae is kind of twisted right there at the base of your neck, and it's causing that laryngitis and that the pulmonary problems. Let's see, if you live in London, the only way you'll be able to tell is go to a chiropractor or a doctor that can take an x-ray or something. Then you're all out the whole area there through the thoracic area. Well, the top part of that thoracic area. So, underneath that Saturn finger is the thoracic vertebrae. And you're all out at least halfway down there. That includes your lungs. That's why you got that problem with the breathing, with the laryngitis and the suffocation. That's how come you have that problem. Let me see if you had an accident or something. Usually it'll show in that lifeline with a little circle. Oh, I didn't see that. Must have been something that happened to you before in your childhood to throw you all out of place in that top part. And then you get to that lumbar area, 1L through 5L, that whole area is out of place. If you're out of place in the top part of that spine, it's going to throw you out in the lower spine to compensate so that you can stand up straight. Otherwise, you'd be walking kind of crooked. So you're all out pretty bad in that lumbar area. Look underneath where it says depression line, and there's a line that says health line. It goes vertical. That's your internal organs. You're getting some stress on that. You should see one clean line, but it's a little bit stressed. That's your internal organs, your colon, your spleen, your liver, your stomach. Usually the organs in the lower part of your body. You're getting some stress on that because that spine is all out of place. You're probably going to have to go see a chiropractor and get it straight out. Oh, yes, you are. When you go see a chiropractor, find one that does cranial sacral work. They have to be trained an extra 8 months to do the cranial sacral work. So when you call a chiropractor, ask if they've been trained to do cranial sacral work. And that's moving that top 1C, 2C back in place. Here's how you check to see if that's out of place. Sit up straight in your chair or stand up and turn your head to the left and see if you can get your chin over your shoulder, left shoulder. Turn your chin to the right, see if you can get it to the over the right shoulder. And if that folds on either side, you're out of place in that 1C, 2C. Also, there's a chart that shows all the nerves that end up in your hand. Pinch right in between those the Saturn and the sun finger. Pinch the top of the palm and see if that's a little bit tender. And I'll bet you that you'll jump out of your skin when you pinch in there, because that top part of the spine is all out of place. I was working one time at the I don't know if you know what rodeos are. That's where our cowboys and cowgirls go to do their little thing, wrestle the cows, and they always pick a queen and 2 princesses from the cowgirls. And of course they ride those horses around, and they do little tricks and things. So I'd set up my little table outside the rodeo, and I had the queen and her 2 princesses come over to the table to have their hands read. They're kind of young kids, maybe about 19, 20 years old in the little gals. Oh, their little spines are so jammed from riding those horses and sitting on those saddles, bouncing up and down. And I said to the little queenie girl, hers was really bad. I guess she rode her horse quite a bit. And I says, doesn't your back hurt? And she says, oh my, it hurts. It hurts so bad. She says, and a halftime during the rodeo, she says, we have to go out in that arena and ride our horses around and wave and smile at everybody. And she says, all the time that I'm waving and smiling, she says, I got big old tears just running down my cheeks because my back hurts so bad. So you're not the only one with a messed up spine. Now, you get a chiropractor, get that straightened up, and when you call, make sure you get a chiropractor that does cranial sacral work that can fix that top 1C, 2C. And you get that back straightened up, it's going to erase all those little island marks in there. It'll clean that heart line up. It'll erase that depression line will disappear. And the health line will clean up to where you just got one nice, good, clean line in there. It'll clean that palm right up. Upper left-hand corner of your chart, achievement lines. These are lines that will come off the top of that lifeline. Very often point to either the Jupiter finger or they'll go straight up. Now the ones that are extra good are if they're quite long, they're extra good. Or if they've got a lot of color in them, or if they're kind of a thick line, then I circle it. That's an extra good achievement line. Oh, you got a bunch of them in there. Upper left-hand corner of your chart, at age achievement lines. At age 13, circled at 16, circled at 20, circled at 21, 23, 27, circled at 34, 35, circled at 38, circled at 39, 45, 48, 49, 52, circled at 54, 56, 58, 60, 63, 66, circled at 67, 70, 71, 72, and circled at 75. This is who your guardian angels are. And they're lines that will come up and touch on that lifeline from the bottom. So on your left hand only, you'll have a line that comes up and touches at a certain age. There's a good timeline on that lifeline. About every 1/8 of an inch is about a year. About every 1/2 an inch is about 7 years. And that starts about age 10 between the Jupiter and the thumb. So I just take my cursor and count it down. Your line will come up and touch at the bottom of that lifeline. Now, on the guardian angels, this is who your guardian angel is. It'll touch at the age you were when someone that you were bonded to has passed away. So, a loved one, probably, like a grandparents, parents, siblings, aunties, uncles, cousins, old boyfriends, old girlfriends. And I just go along and count that with my cursor. But usually the line will touch, and then it'll make a little tiny line that goes across the two lines. And that's who your guardian angel is. So that's the age you were when they died. So you have to do a little math there. So here's your guardian angels at age 11 and a half, 20, 24, 27, and 28. Now this is down in that lower left-hand corner of your chart. That's who your guardian angels are. And then if you've ever had a visit from a guardian angel, it shows on your right hand only. The line comes up and touches at the base of that lifeline, but it doesn't make a little line that goes across. So here's where you've had visits from guardian angels. Sometimes if you've been really sick, or if you've had an accident, or if you're in distress, or if you had somebody that's passed away, very often their spirit will go around after it leaves the body and check on all their loved ones before it goes off into the light. And so that'll show us a little visit from a guardian angel. So sometimes you'll have the same age on there. Oh, I see you've got a couple on there that's the same. Okay. And it'll touch on that lifeline. Now this is your right hand only. You've got one in there that's before 10. So it goes over and goes clear off the side between the thumb and the Jupiter finger. And then one 11 and a half. Now see, that's one where you had someone that passed away that's made a visit to you. 12, 15, 19, and 24. Again, one at 24. So, like I say, you'll have to do a little math to figure out who your guardian angels are. Okay, our last line now is the fate line. It's in the lower right-hand corner of your chart in green. That fate line starts at the base of the palm. Has two starts. It starts to the outside of the hand. You're very sociable, and you have to have your friends and family around you all the time. But it goes down the middle of your hand. You have to have a little private time. Yours is private. And every time that line breaks and moves over, it's a change in either your career or your lifestyle. Usually both. Sometimes you'll just get a little fork off the side, and that's just kind of a minor change. Okay, starting at the base of the palm, which is at age 20. When it crosses that headline, that's age 40. Where it crosses the heart line, that's 50. And when it gets up to that ring around the base of Saturn, that's 80. Okay, at 23, it splits into two lines. And then it comes back together at age 26. So, from 23 to 26, so you're already past that. A couple of little different careers or things going on in your life. Maybe school and work. So it comes back together at age 26. Then a little break there at 34. And then at age 35, a little break. I don't think those were breaks. I think they were just little forks that come off that line. They didn't seem to be too consequential. Then age 37, there's a big change. And I get two lines that go up to 40. That means two jobs going up to 40. And then there's another change at 40. And it moves over. And then I get one line up to 50. Age 50. It stays fairly consistent there from 40 to 50. Then one line up to 50. And then there's a change again at 50. And then it stays quite consistent, and just one line goes right up into the middle of that finger, all the way up to age 86. So you're going to live till you're 86 at least. Get that spine fixed, and I'll bet you that line will lengthen up. Well, if you want it to.